so it should be good to go.
I mean, we could talk about what we want to do about, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just want to get it on for first reading.
15 years.
Yeah, let's do it, yeah. We just, maybe we can have an informal conversation about the email we got from the Chinese school. Okay, we're ready?
I'm ready.
Ready in the back?
Looks like a yes.
All right, we're going to get started. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, May 22nd, 2018, in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, May 17th, 2018, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Dana, can we have a roll call, please?
Lynn Benner.
Here.
Michael Beelan.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Robert Garrison.
Here.
Gretchen Olig.
Here.
Peggy Oster.
Here.
Charles Ostroff. Amy Root.
Here. Mike, could you lead us in a flag salute?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, we're going to start tonight's meeting from the podium, which always means that there's something fun coming up. So, if you'll give me 1 second. So tonight we're going to start by honoring the high school students selected to perform in state and regional vocal and instrumental ensembles. Each was chosen after rigorous auditions, often competing against hundreds and in some cases more than 1,000 students from the region or across the state. We start with 2 talented young musicians who will perform with the New Jersey All-State High School Orchestra in November during the New Jersey Education Association Convention in Atlantic City and at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark. Junior Kevin Lee was named principal second violin. Freshman Kelly Egan will join the bass section. Both Kevin and Kelly also performed with the Central Jersey Music Educators Association Region 2 Orchestra in January. Additionally, senior Jun Lin Yi performed alongside Kevin and Kelly, playing the violin in the January concert at the Region 2 Orchestra. Jun Lin could not join us tonight, but I'd like to ask Kevin and Kelly and Westfield High School Orchestra Director Craig Stanton to come up to the podium.
So thank you. Kevin and Junlin cannot be here. They're tutoring tonight, which is just one of the many other things that they do. We're very excited to have so many people make region and all-state this year. It's a really great accomplishment for them. I know I speak for myself and for my faculty or my colleagues at the high school when I say we're very fortunate to work with such wonderful, talented student musicians and work in a district where we're so supported in the arts. So thank you.
Come to the concert on Thursday.
We're going to move on now to recognize 7 vocalists who lifted their voices with the highly competitive New Jersey Music Education Association All-State High School Chorus last November. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. So for mixed chorus, Nicole Player. Matthew Cerati. Matthew also performed with the CJMEA Region 2 Honor Chorus in January. And Olivia McElhenney. I ruined it. Say it for me. Yeah, you. Can you come up, please? Are you here? No? Oh, she's not. Okay. And Catherine Moore, who was also unable to attend, I understand. So we're going to move on to Treble Chorus. Charlotte Fountain Jardim. Charlotte Geary. Charlotte also performed with the Region 2 Honor Chorus. And Abby Rothenberg, who could not attend tonight. But it's worth noting that Abby joined Matthew and Charlotte in singing with the Region 2 Honor Chorus, and she also received her 4-year pin for acceptance into the Region 2 Honor Chorus for each of her 4 years at the high school. At this time, I'd like to invite choral directors John Burzowski and Maureen Francis to the podium as well to be recognized for their instruction and dedication.
Boy, is it a privilege and a pleasure to see these students succeed to the levels that they have succeeded in their time at the high school. And in the future, I'm sure they'll be participating in the choir in all state and regions. But it's worth noting that in these groups, how much effort is put into performing, to get these auditions prepared. The students have to come sometimes early in the morning at 7 a.m. and work with us, and after school, and when they could be doing a whole lot of other things after school, they chose to spend their time performing in these ensembles. So thank you all for your hard work.
So, no, I think y'all should sit down, but I think, wait, my directions say otherwise. Mr. Burzowski and Ms. Francis and Charlotte Geary and Matthew, if you could remain up here, please. Because we are going to honor the other student vocalists who auditioned and were selected for Region 2 Honors Chorus. Russell Cohen. Samantha Horvath. Zaria Katz. Joseph Maldonado. Matt Meixner. Vincent Mora. So do you want to say anything about these guys in this particular process, or you're good? Yeah, that would be great.
So some of these are my former private voice students, but I have to say we're so proud of them. And when you look out into the classroom every day, I kind of find myself looking at these kids as leaders. And you always know that they're prepared, that they've practiced, and they come in early, they stay late, they meet us during our preps or lunchtime to go over things. So they're very dedicated, and they make me so excited about what I do. So thank you.
Should we pull the chairs? Mary Ann, do you want the chairs? I think we can do that.
Is that too wide, or do you want to do like? I'm okay. In the front? Okay. You want to make a pyramid?
Okay, everybody up here. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I just want to congratulate again all of our high school vocal and instrumental musicians. Thank you so much for taking time out to come tonight, and I know all the hard hours that you put in, and you make us very proud. So I think we're going to take 2 seconds and do a switch because our boardroom is not so big. So we're going to have the high school students leave, and we're going to have the intermediate school students come in. So thank you again for coming, and congratulations on all your hard work. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you? Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, don't worry about it. Donna, never mind. Bye.
Oh, so you need him there.
I know she's gone, but she said he was gone. Crunch time.
I feel like they should have sang something for us.
Yes, that's right.
Did Peggy go get him? Oh, no, she's right there.
Nope.
I saw your seat was empty. I thought that maybe you left again.
Nope.
Where they come?
Did you see my little note, by the way?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I remember a couple meetings
I
ago
didn't know it was
when we
last
were like,
night, but I didn't know.
yeah.
Thank you.
You went to the back, so that's what we can.
We could get rid of these.
Right. Yeah, and get it. Yeah, because I want to get it rolled out.
Iffy, but
Right.
now
Could have been. Yeah.
And I'm there like, oh, Joey. It's like a member of the house.
Yeah, just in virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank you guys for being patient while we made the switch over. I certainly appreciate it. We have a lot to be thankful for and to honor tonight, and so I want to welcome and applaud our intermediate student musicians who face competitive auditions to be selected to perform with state and regional orchestras. These students know what it means to work hard in order to achieve and excel at this level of musicianship. So we're going to begin tonight by recognizing 2 Edison students who performed with the New Jersey All-State Intermediate Orchestra this month. This orchestra is made up of the top intermediate string players in New Jersey. 8th grader Amy Zhao was named first violin, and 7th grader Kevin Chen plays the viola. Kevin also performed with the Central Jersey Music Educators Association Region 2 Orchestra in March, while Amy played piccolo with the CJMEA Region 2 Wind Ensemble. Joining Amy in the Region 2 Wind Ensemble was Edison 8th grade trombone player Conor Daly, who is unable to be here tonight. And Conor also performed with the Region 2 Jazz Band. So Amy and Kevin, if you could please join me at the podium along with your orchestra director, Amanda Gant, and the Edison Band director, John Scazzaro, who will accept Conor's certificate on his behalf. Come on up. Mr. Scazzaro, here is Conor's. And then one for you as well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Would you like to, one of you, either of you? There's no obligation. I
Sure.
always feel like.
I'll speak a little bit on behalf. So on behalf of the middle school directors, we're so proud of these students. I can speak on the band end. Conor Daly is a fantastic musician, making both the Region Band and Region Jazz Band first chair. So he's one of the finest musicians that we have. I got to know Amy the last couple of years because not only does she play violin, but she's incredible at flute. So while I haven't had her in class personally, I've got to see her amazing talent. She's played in our flute ensemble, and she made it on both band and orchestra, which is really unprecedented, for young musicians. And I'll let Miss Gann speak about the others.
And Kevin, who is joining us from 7th grade, actually last year was one of the very, very few 6th graders to make it into Region Orchestra. And so I'm very proud of him that he made it into Region Orchestra this year, as well as All-State Orchestra. So great job, you guys. They're both very dedicated musicians, as are the other recipients. So thank you.
The paparazzi.
Gretchen, if a parent wanted to
Yes,
come
is
closer,
it?
they could.
Yeah, if you want to come closer, feel free. Thank you very much. Amy, Kevin, directors Gant, Scazzaro, actually you guys have to come back up. Everybody come back up. And I'd ask you to remain here as we also want to introduce 4 other student musicians who performed in the Region 2 Intermediate Orchestra. So please come forward and join them when I call your name. Julian Hamilton from Roosevelt, grade 7 viola. Meredith Shepard from Roosevelt, grade 8 viola. Steve Wang from Edison, grade 7 violin. He's not here. Yeah, thank you. And Clara Yu from Edison, grade 7 cello. I'm also going to invite Roosevelt Orchestra Director Bryce Freeman to join us at the podium to be recognized as well for his instruction and dedication.
I would just like to take this time to congratulate Julian and Meredith, two wonderful students, 2 wonderful musicians. Julian only in 7th grade, and we already have a multitude of inside jokes and just had lots of great times. And we've even squeezed in some great music in there also. And Meredith, this is the bittersweet time because our 3rd and final year, and you have just developed into such an amazing musician. So I'm just so proud of both of your development, and thank you guys very much.
All right, congratulations again. Thank you. Welcome back. Again, thank you all for taking time to join us tonight and letting us honor you. You inspire us all the time with your hard work, and thanks for taking time out of your day to help us kick off our meeting with this good news. So you're always welcome to stay, but you do not have to feel obligated. So if you would like to head out, now would probably be the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, but enjoying music. Okay.
All right, we're going to move on to other announcements. I'll start at the end of the table. Lynn, do you have any?
Yes, I do. On May 10th, 60 Westfield High School students were inducted into the National Honor Societies for Spanish, French, Italian, and Chinese, with 26 excelling in French, 14 in Spanish, 11 in Italian, and 9 in Chinese. Congratulations to all inductees for this prestigious honor and to the entire World Languages team.
Michael.
Yes, members of the Roosevelt Intermediate School Kindness Club set up a station at Westfield's 30th Annual Spring Fling Street Fair on May 6th to raise money for No Kid Hungry, a national campaign run by the nonprofit organization Share Our Strength. The Kindness Club raised $476.10, the equivalent of donating 4,761 meals to children facing hunger in the United States. Great.
That's great. Thank you. Brendan, do you have any announcements? Kent?
I'm good, thanks.
Amy?
Yes, I have one. Just a reminder, the deadline for Westfield residents interested in considering a 3-year term on the Board of Education is July 30th at 4 p.m. when nominating petitions are due at the county clerk's office in Elizabeth. The 3 board members whose terms are expiring are Robert Garrison, Gretchen Oleg, and Charles Ostroff. More information on the board election process can be found under the board section of the district website.
Thank you. Rob?
Yes. Congratulations to the following Westfield High School students who achieved a top score of 36 on portions of the April 2018 ACT standardized tests. Ian Gerland, 10th grade math. Julianne Aronson, 11th grade English and reading. Brianna Hatch, 11th grade science, STEM, English, and ELA. Jennifer O'Connell, 11th grade reading, and Brooke Sullivan, 11th grade reading.
Thank you. Peggy?
I'm happy to make an announcement. It doesn't feel much like Memorial Day weekend. It's just around the corner, but Westfield Public Schools and offices will be closed on Monday, May 28th to observe Memorial Day. Please remember that the town's parade, in which many of our students will participate, begins at 9 a.m. Have a good one.
And I will announce that our next meeting of the board will be on Tuesday, June 12th at 7 p.m. at 302 Elm Street. It will be the reorganization meeting of the board and we will also recognize intermediate and high school teachers and staff of the year. A complete agenda will be available on Friday, June 8th under the board section of the district website. At this point, I would recognize anyone from the public for agenda items only. All right, seeing no one come to the podium, we'll jump into the superintendent's report. Dr. Dolan.
Thank you. And tonight, actually, I have 2 superintendent reports. The first is that we're very pleased to say that the Westfield Foundation has given us a grant, given the public schools a grant, to create an innovation classroom for Westfield High School. This was a true team effort to try to determine a way to bring into our schools. Our schools are not that new, they're older facilities, but how to make the space flexible and able to address a number of needs for engineering classes, for robotics, etc. We're very excited about it. It was, as I mentioned, a true team effort, and I'm going to ask Dana Sullivan to play a video that demonstrates this. This video was put together by Mary Ann McGann, and I think will just give you a sense of what it is we're hoping to accomplish, and we're very thankful to the Westfield Foundation for this opportunity.
In recent years, we've developed our STEM program beginning at the intermediate level. We had a few teachers there that were very strong in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. and they evolved our traditional industrial arts program at the middle schools into something that is now more appropriately called technology education, tech ed.
My name is Laura Doyle, and I taught at Roosevelt Intermediate School for 12 years in the wood shop, so I was technology education.
The middle school also put together a competitive robotics team. So when those students came to the high school, we needed to be prepared to offer them similar kinds of opportunities. So we implemented a few courses that have been very popular. Two examples are, one is sort of like an architecture, structural engineering course, and the other one is biology-based. It's a forensics course, which is really popular. We have 7 sections in that one. So in addition to those new courses, we wanted to implement something more along the lines of maybe mechanical engineering, which involves programming, which is really a key skill that young people need to have moving forward if they're interested in those fields for college and careers.
For months and months we've met, we visited schools, we researched different programs, different curricula, and we've decided upon a course called Engineering Your World, which is through the University of Texas at Austin.
So that's really what got the ball rolling, and now we've gotten to the point where we do need a facility, we need an innovation environment, an innovation classroom.
And Engineer Your World allows students to learn about engineering and the different facets of it, so civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and then complete hands-on projects as they go through different design challenges in the course. They need an easy, flexible, inviting, and creative space where they can work.
In a traditional classroom setting, you have normally desks and tables, whether they're connected or not, but they're typically in a set location that never moves. But what if there were wheels for each piece of furniture? What if the storage could be moved around? What if the tables and chairs actually connect together to build different types of environments and different types of furniture? Now you could have a space in which it's a lecture hall at one period that could then turn into a collaboration room in another period where a few desks could come together and they could now be in groups of 5 or 6.
I think this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for all of our students who have an interest in robotics. Just in the last couple of years, we've had an after-school club that's really kind of almost been like nomads in a lot of ways. They've been bouncing around after school from room to room, trying to find places where they can store a lot of their equipment, a lot of their fields and their cars and stuff. So having a space like this where they can actually set up their field and almost be like a home base for them and actually have storage space for them is going to be a godsend for them.
Another vision is growing the technology education program so that there can be multiple different classes that are offered in this classroom.
The key to our vision now is to match form and function. The students need a versatile, modern learning space that can be modified based on the program innovations that we develop for the students.
This is the Hovercam Pilot Interactive Presenters Workstation. This workstation has built into it a Windows 10 operating system computer, as well as a built-in document camera and the capability to integrate iPads, iPhones, and other devices running iOS.
We can prepare students for working in innovation fields that are in great demand right now and get them familiar with problem solving through project-based activities. If we're going to expect them, encourage them, and lead them towards trying different things and taking risks, then our classroom needs to be the same way. Ultimately, the goal is for every square inch of the room to contribute to learning and to be flexible. We don't want to set up a room for any one thing. We need the room to be set up for scenarios that we haven't even thought of yet.
So I hope you can tell, we really are very excited about this project. And we had a project meeting just yesterday to determine the space and the first steps, and we will keep you up to date on all of our work. And we can't wait until we have the unveiling of the classroom and can show both you and the Westfield Foundation the work we've accomplished, and we think it's going to be great for our students at the high school. And I'm sure we'll learn from this project, which will inform some of our other classrooms going forward. I think it'll just be the beginning. But we appreciate the support of the foundation. Any questions on that before I go on to the second report? Okay. So the second report is actually a required state report. This report was formerly known as the Violence Vandalism Reporting System for the state. All public school districts in New Jersey have been required to report certain incidents in a very specific way. There are, as you can imagine, quite a few rules. But they've renamed the report and they've reformatted the report, so this will be a little different tonight. Usually, in the past, I've been able to show you how we compare from period to period, year to year. That's not possible now because they've completely changed the reporting system. So this will be just be reporting on one aspect. It is now called the Student Safety Data System. I do think that's an improvement in title, by the way, the student safety, but much better than the previous one. Public schools districts are required to report to the state, and there are 2 report periods each year. This one, the one I'll be presenting tonight, is from September 1 to December 31st. All right. As you can see on the report, and this is how it is presented, every school has to be reported. So the first column talks about incidents that will include anything that the state gives a definition for regarding violence, vandalism, substance abuse, weapons, or confirmed cases of harassment, intimidation, or bullying. So not just an allegation, but an actual confirmed one. The next column, other incidents leading to removal. So it doesn't fall into the state's categories, but still, according to the district's code of conduct, it required a suspension of a student, and that's why those are listed. I will point out, because it's one of the most important parts of this reporting period, if you look down in that second column for Edison, Roosevelt, and Westfield High School, the majority of those incidents had to do with students having e-cigarettes or utilizing e-cigarettes. As this town knows, that has become quite an issue across the state and country. It's really a problem we've been addressing both in our health classes. We've been providing training to our teachers so that they're aware of it. We've provided numerous parent sessions, and as I've discussed with many parents, we're very concerned about this. For many, many years, a high school student would never talk about cigarettes. They would make faces and scrunch up their faces about how gross cigarettes were. But all of a sudden, e-cigarettes came. And the marketing they've done for young people, unfortunately, has been very effective across this country. And what we have learned from the health educators is that these e-cigarettes are highly, highly addictive very quickly. So even a young student who just tries it because the marketing is effective or their friend has it, it's really creating some problems. So we will continue to get that word out. But again, that's why we see those numbers this year. That's been a change. The third column talks about any allegations of harassment, intimidation, or bullying. So anytime there's a report of that, those are all listed there by school. HIB trainings. HIB trainings, as defined by the state, talks about making sure students, staff understand what is considered harassment, intimidation, or bullying. Obviously, you provide those trainings at different levels, whether you're talking to a high school student or a younger child, but all of them need to understand what expectations are, what is accepted, and what is not acceptable. So that is, those are the number of trainings that are listed there.
Dr. Dolan, why does Franklin have 13 compared to everybody else?
I think for this year, that team in Franklin decided to break up the information into smaller groups.
Okay.
Both smaller groups of students, but also giving them information in smaller doses.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't in response to any
It was
that
not.
particular school?
It was not. And then the HIB, or Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying programs, those are programs that are brought in, whether one of our schools had a month of hope, where there were a lot of efforts to do different activities, or whether those are those different activities we do during the Week of Respect, So those are special programs brought in to try to, in a different way, help students understand the importance of treating others with respect and helping them to understand, no matter what their age, what is the impact when we don't treat people with respect, when we do call names? What is that? What is the impact of that when we hurt others? So those are the various projects that are brought into the schools. So work like this is absolutely ongoing. We don't just do this once a year, and then we know that everything's fit. It's something we work on constantly, and we know that parents do the same. What is always important to remind people as part of this report is if there are parents or students who feel as though they're not being treated appropriately, every school has at least one anti-bullying specialist. In general, these people are trained counselors, and so if there are any concerns, please reach out, ask questions, or if there is something you need to report, you can certainly report, but often it's asking questions and understanding something a little bit better. So, are there any questions or comments about the report?
No.
And again, all of these numbers are submitted to the state and will be done so after this presentation.
I know we can't directly compare this year's data to last year's data, but in the previous few years, we can see downward trends other than an occasional spike at a school for a HIV incident here or e-cigarettes at the high school or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that downward trend continuing?
It's downward, but I will also say sometimes some of this is almost developmental.
Mhm.
I'd like to say we're going to absolutely get rid of this, and we keep working at that, and we keep informing, but students sometimes make mistakes, and we need to help them learn, and we continue to do that.
Yeah, particularly with HIBs. When it first started, there were 100 incidents in the year, and
That's
now
true.
it's down to 13, I think.
That's
I
true.
counted.
Yeah. But as any parent can also tell you, even though you teach them the right ways, occasionally they surprise you and perhaps disappoint you. Because you do teach them the right way to treat others. You try to model it in the way you speak to others, in the way you interact with others, and then sometimes they do disappoint you. And you have to use that as a learning experience and keep on trying, because it's so important that our students learn that. It's an important part of their education and growing up.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Then we'll move ahead. I'd like to ask the board to approve the minutes of our meeting held on May 8th, 2018, and the private minutes of the same date.
Second.
Second, Brendan, thank you. All in favor?
I'll abstain, I'm traveling.
Michael abstains. Okay. Personnel. Peggy.
I'd like the board to consider items number 1 to 27.
Second.
A second?
I think there were addendums that you need to 31.
Sorry. 1 to 31, I apologize. I have the wrong screen open. Kent is second. Dr. Dolan, do you have anything to say this evening?
I don't. Amazingly, there is not one retirement tonight. Last week, I think we had, I don't know, 5, but no retirements this evening. Yes.
And I think you guys will notice in the personnel that we're beginning to hire for next year for our retirements and resignations, so we had a busy agenda for this month. Dana?
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Michael Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Robert Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg,
Yes, I abstain from item 13.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
All right. Just a quick shout out to Barbara Ball. Thank you you've clearly been very busy. We certainly appreciate it. More to come, all right. Facilities, I would like to ask the board to approve the following resolution. Whereas the Friends of Westfield Track donated funds for improvement to the Kaler Stadium concession stand, and whereas the Friends of Westfield Track requested that the concession stand be named after former coach Tom Hornish, now therefore be it resolved, the Westfield Board of Education approves the naming of the concession stand after Coach Tom Hornish. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Brendan, thank you. So this was a request that came to us, actually, I think it came to us a while ago, and I don't know all the history, but anyway, we are here, and we are very grateful for the efforts of the Friends of Westfield Track to get our concession stand presentable And also, we thank you for the opportunity and the suggestion that we name it after this amazing man who obviously made quite an impact on our track and field program at the high school. So, and let's vote, and then I think if someone wants to come up and say something, we'd welcome you to the podium.
Lynn
Dan?
Benner,
Yes.
Michael Beelan,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Brenda Galligan,
Yes.
Robert Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes,
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
thank you. Does someone, yeah, please.
Good evening. My name is Greg Casco. I'm a resident of Westfield and also a graduate of Westfield High School. On behalf of the Friends of the Westfield Track and Field, I'm here as its president to thank each and every one of you for passing this resolution tonight, naming the concession stand after Coach Tom Hornish. Coach Hornish, as you know, is beloved by each and every student athlete that he ever coached. With me here tonight are members of the Track and Field, Friends of Westfield Track and Field Board, trustees Jeff Perella, who's also a former runner, graduate of Westfield, Louise Spurgel, who has boys in the program, Jim McCutcheon, who's also on the boosters. He has a son that runs, and Sharon Stockwell, whose daughter's graduating this year. And without her persistence, 2 years, we wouldn't be here tonight. So thank you. Together, we've made improvements at the concession stand, including shelving, a new refrigerator, 2 stoves. We had an awning put up, picnic tables, which are getting great use. On a personal note, Coach Hornish was one of my winter track coaches, and I can say with certainty that he's looking down tonight with a humble heart and a big smile, and he says thank you. Donna Hornish could not be here tonight, unfortunately. She's at Echo Lake Country Club presenting scholarships on behalf of the women's club, and she thanks you as well from the bottom of her heart. I'm sure you'll hear from her in the near future. Thank you again. I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight.
I just want a second. I worked in the concession stand a couple weeks ago for the Blue Devil Classic, and it was amazing to see all the friends of the Westfield Track, how hard they worked to put that event together and run that concession stand. It was a well-oiled machine when you had crowds coming in, and they did a great job.
Thanks, Mike. No other facilities report this evening. Long-range planning. Amy.
Yes, we had a meeting on May 8th at Tamacos for our last meeting. We seem to be doing a little bit of a road show with our last couple meetings, but I think our next one will be here. And we had, again, some good, really good dialogue and discussion about the nature of what's in the strategic plan, about student health and wellness and resiliency, which can be a really vague term when you consider all the things that could fall under that umbrella. So we talked a little bit about that, and Dr. Dolan told us about the intermediate school principals surveying their teachers to get some feedback from them. Other things that we talked about, and I circulated the notes kind of late this evening to the board members, so forgive me, and hopefully there's information in there that will be helpful to you. But basically, we're still kind of a work in progress. Some further discussions we want to have, some other people in the district we want to reach out to. And Dr. Dolan told us this evening that one of the topics that we talked about, which was the fact that we're hearing more from our teachers on the subject of resiliency and stress, which is really not surprising when you consider all we ask them to shoulder and their responsibilities to children and the interactions with kids and with parents. So we need to be mindful of that and do what we can to help and assist them in any way that we can. But Dr. Dolan mentioned that there's going to be some professional development classes that some of our senior staff members are going to be able to attend over the summer, which should prove useful. They'll be able to come back, make sure that they've got someone in attendance at the various meetings that are offered, and hopefully bring back some good information for us about what we can do. And our next meeting is scheduled for, I wrote it down, I'm blanking,
June
the
19th.
19th, the 19th, before our last meeting. I welcome input from community members if people have ideas as well, because it's gonna take all of us, I think, on this one, so.
Great,
Okay.
thank you. Policies, Brendan.
Yeah, the policies committee met briefly before tonight's meeting to discuss our facilities use policy, which we've been talking about for 2 years now, and our code of conduct, both of which we want to have finalized before we break for the summer, so that we can implement them for the start of the following school year.
Okay. Are there any more policy meetings before summer?
We have a policy meeting, I believe, on the 5th
Okay.
of June.
Great. Curriculum, instruction, and programming, Michael.
Yes, we haven't had a meeting since our last meeting, since our last board meeting. We have our meeting scheduled for this Thursday, the 24th. And we have 2 items on the agenda I would like to ask the board to approve for the district field trips and the second reading of advanced placement psychology and psychometry through film and literature. Do we have a second?
Second.
Brendan?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
I did that already. Okay, never mind.
You have a third.
I know, I can't believe my third.
You ready for a vote? Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Michael Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Robert Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Okay, finance. I'd like to ask the board to consider finance items 1 through 20. Can I have a second? Kent, thank you. Before we vote, in addition to thanking the Westfield Foundation for the Innovation Classroom grant that Dr. Dolan mentioned earlier, I'd like to acknowledge a series of gifts. A gift from the Klaus Mueller a gift of a Klaus Mueller etude violin and also a cello with cases valued at $900 from Hillary Kaplan to be used by the music department. A gift of a Samsung color printer and toner valued at approximately $350 from James Kennedy for Roosevelt Intermediate School. A grant from the Union County Kids Dig In Plant to Seed Award for 2018 of garden supplies to Jefferson, McKinley, and Washington. And a gift of $12,501.47 from the Wilson School PTO to be used for the cosmetic renovation of the Wilson School faculty kitchen. So thank you to all those various groups for their very generous awards, and I know that all of those items are going to get lots of use, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing the gardens at the elementary school, so we're very grateful. Thank you. Dana, anything else on the finance agenda that we need to call out?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then can we have a vote, please?
Lynn Benner,
Yes.
Michael Beelan,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Robert Garrison,
Yes.
Gretchen Olig,
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes.
Moving on, technology. Peggy.
We had a meeting on this past Friday, and Brian Ocker was there to present to us a couple different things. He gave us an update on the new website, which we are hoping still for a June 1st sandbox for us to be working on and for him to get back from Ed Leo at this point in time. So that will be up for discussion at our meeting in June. But he also presented to us a technology review of what was done in the schools for 2017 and 18, and a preview of what's coming in 2018-19. A lot of the things that were added to the schools were Chromebook carts, laptops for teachers, and so forth. We keep adding Chromebook carts for the classrooms in the different schools as needed. We have a replacement plan that we follow for teachers in the schools and so forth, so we're on schedule for those replacements and so forth. The thing that I found, Brian and his department are really truly amazing. We see on a lot of the technology things that he does and so forth. But he also gave us a work order report, meaning for all of the schools, how many work orders he receives and how many work orders are outstanding and complete and so forth. And for almost all of our schools, his department is at a 95 to 98% of work orders are complete. So there are not jobs sitting out there in schools that teachers and administrators are looking to have done. He and his people are getting all of this work done and keeping us and our technology running every day. And I think that's amazing, and I really want to give a shout out to him because I think he does a great job and his department does a great job. And then also going forward, he's going to work on a 10-year plan as much as he possibly can, because we all know that technology is a constantly changing environment. But he's going to prepare for us where he thinks we're going, things that we should be looking for in the future, budgeting for additions and improvements for our schools. And he said he would be working on that over the summer.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
Peggy, since we've been buying Chromebook carts for the last 5 or 6 years now, what's the life of a typical Chromebook? Do they last 2 years? Do they last 5 years?
I think most of our equipment seems to be on about a 5-year time frame.
That's pretty good for a
and
$300 laptop.
For a lot of our equipment too, we have a 5-year timeline, and a lot of them last closer to 7. So
we're not abusing them too much.
Well, what he said is he'll do a variety of things with it. Once you use it in the school environment, there might be other uses that doesn't require the power, whether it be for a projector or a security system or whatever, that we get an extra couple of years out of it. And ones that are really down, we can then use those and recycle the parts, so we don't have to go and buy parts that may not be available, actually.
And once every machine comes back to the school, it's inventoried and kept within our inventory system as to whether or not we would be using it for parts, for other uses and so forth. And we keep track of all the equipment that we have in the school, whether it's used every day or in storage for, repairs and so forth.
Also, just recently, since our students are undergoing the state mandated tests and they are now done on computer, we've heard, both Brian and I have heard from a few of the principals about how much easier it is now because we have so many more Chromebooks and the students are able to do their state assessments on Chromebooks. And where it used to be really onerous to schedule that, it's a lot easier now because we have so many devices for the students, and the students are used to using the devices. So that's been a real improvement.
Okay. I'd ask the board to note the notes for the record. And do we have any unfinished business? Any new business? Dana, I have a question. Our reorganization meeting, is the next meeting the one at which we make committee changes? Or is that I can't keep track because I know we now have the 2 reorganization meetings since we changed the election date, so.
Well, I think you usually do that in January.
Okay.
But you don't actually, you appoint, so we don't actually put that on the agenda.
Okay.
But you can change whenever you want, but usually it's January because new board members.
All right, so, but if we're gonna have a conversation as a board about our standing committees and our ad hoc committees and whether we should give some thought to change those, that doesn't have to happen by the next June meeting. That's sort of a fluid conversation. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Liaison reports. No? And everybody's so busy, yeah.
The library board, both there's a library board and an acquisitions committee, and we met last Thursday. And we're going to be reviewing both the tutoring policy and the use of the library for programming for outside students. So that's coming up this Thursday.
That tutoring policy is probably a hot topic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's very hot.
Okay. Any other liaison reports? At this point, I would recognize anyone from the public for questions or comments. Seeing no one come to the podium, I'd ask the board to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, personnel, legal matters, contract negotiations, the superintendent's evaluation, the board self-evaluation, and harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents. And be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Brendan, thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are in private session.